Are you a cannabis grower who knows what they're doing? Are you looking for a one-stop shop for all things cannabis lighting? Then check out DutchLightingInnovations.com. On our website, you can learn more about our newest UV technology, which allows us to grow stronger, even better terpene profiles while reducing microbial growth. DutchLightingInnovations.com has all your lighting needs, from HPS to CMH to LED and UV. Lights of the highest quality for growers who know what they're doing. Designed, engineered, and made in Holland. Your one-stop shop for all things cannabis, DutchLightingInnovations.com. You can learn more about our newest UV technology. At DLI, we have decades in experience in both commercial and hobby horticulture. As a result, our engineers have developed a brand new range of horticultural lighting products that combine with the tried and tested manufacturing techniques of the existing commercial lighting products with a modern manufacturing process. As a result, we've created a comprehensive line of horticultural lighting products that are designed to enhance user experience and produce better results. That's DutchLightingInnovations.com. Are you a cannabis grower?
Shackles that you keep. I'm a slave to memories, forever haunting me. But I've never felt so alive, and none of this time won't be face down in the middle, and none of this time when the sky is falling, it's calling out of your name, and I won't be your savior.
What's up, my tokers, jokers, and smokers? Welcome back to another edition of the Daily Chronicles, y'all. Thanks for stopping by. I'm your host, Rodney, today with my man, Waylon, the indoor farmer. Man, what's going on, brother? Welcome to the show.
What's up, everybody?
What's going on? Waylon, help me, it's Mcabee?
Mcabee.
Okay, man, I didn't want to butcher it. I tried, and man, I don't want to, the mix and the max. I hate to say that, but I've Irish roots myself. You got to get it right. But Mr. Mcabee, I welcome you to the show, man. Thanks for coming on the Daily Chronicles, dude.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't mind. There's several variations that I'll answer to.
Hey, it's better than hey dude or like hey brah or something of that nature. At least it's a lot more professional, if you will. But hey, man. I've seen your lives happening on Facebook all over the place, and like you're doing it, kid. That's I don't say that. I say that in all the commemoration I can. But I've been seeing all these lives, and I tuned in, and I started watching these. Sometimes I'll lurk. I'll be honest. I'll have to throw it on the background. I'm cooking or something, right? But I tune in as much as I can, and dude, like the positivity that just oozes from your show. I gotta say, man, I fucking love that.
Well, I try. Some of that is formula that people try to say that you need to be more positive all the time, and some of it is the fact that that's what I'd rather put out there. The energy I would rather put out there. I don't want to go on there to complain about stuff all day. It's easy. It's hard to be positive to people. Try to help them get through their day. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And it's interesting because. Something that a lot of people don't realize is that hurt people help people, so if a person's trying to make your day better, chances are they've had a really shitty day inflicted or, something out of their control. And that's kind of the best energy you want to have, man. And so I absolutely push everyone to your Facebook, the Indoor Farmer, or as you see it scrolling at the bottom of your screen, the indoorfarmer.locals.com. Now, before we get to our first segment, what's in your bowl, and talk about everything that you like to enjoy, explain to me, man, what is Locals, man? What is that?
So Locals, the name is a little bit, it throws some people off. It's not a dating site. It's what they describe it. It's a local community. So I have my own community there, and it's kind of like my own website a little bit. They do take a small cut, but much better. It's like 10%. So 10% on a subscription fee, which I have mine set to the lowest it can go, $2 a month. So they take 20 cents. So it's like the only place I can go away from the big tech guys, away from the people who could ban me here and there if I have a hater out there, just what's the word? Fake reporting me and all those sorts of things. I don't have to worry about those things anymore with Facebook. So, and I've never even had those problems until I started going live. And it's crazy the people that come out of the woodworks, right? So This is my home base away from the other guys. It's supposed to be much more free speech oriented and whatnot. So hopefully that's the case. But so far it's been great over there.
Not to draw any attention away from Locals, again, you guys, that's www.theindoorfarmer.locals.com, man. I'm going to check out Locals after the show for sure. I'd actually like you to check out one as well. I got one for you. You might look. Sure. Like a couple of episodes back, we sat down with Ariana Newton from the Weed Tube. The Weed Tube is basically exactly what it sounds. It's weed and shrooms, entheogens and stuff, for stoners. It's YouTube for stoners. That's really what it is. And stoners being the most appropriate word that you could ever possibly use in the good way, right? Speaking of stoners and smoking, let's get to our first segment.
Get ready for What's in Your Bowl.
Now, Waylon, What's in Your Bowl is segment number 1. This is what we want to know. What you're smoking, man. So currently I ask you, what's in your bowl?
Well, right now, I have, let's see. Here it is.
You gotta dig it out.
There it is. Well, look, guys, this is my first harvest, really. I haven't taken it in a while, though.
That's, oh, hell yeah.
But this one here is strawberry banana. Oh, it's got such a, it's kind of a piney, almost like a diesel-y smell to it for sure. But that's what I'm smoking right now. I have a few no names that I'm not 100% sure of their name. You're not going to be able to see this, unfortunately. I won't be able to like with the green screen and stuff. It just looks like, it just looks like bud. It's not helping you to just. But yeah, it's very tasty. Smells good for my first harvest. I was happy.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. So there's a sense of accomplishment there, you know what I mean? Like growing your own. And I'll admit, I'm only into my like 8th or 9th grow. Not even that, I don't think. We only have 3 plants growing, not to make it about me, but,
sure.
I got such a sense of just, well-being, being able to like eat my own vegetables or grow my own wheat, man. There's such a sense of accomplishment is the word that I'm trying to find here. You got a sense of accomplishment, didn't you?
Sure, or as the kids say, it hits different.
It hits different. There you go. The vibes. I appreciate that. But it's the truth, man. And you'll notice that it's immensely better than anything that you could purchase at a dispensary. I'm not trying to discount dispensaries or anything of that nature, but again, it's what you can buy at a grocery store versus from your local farmer. That's the idea here. Now, what is it about that strain specifically that you decided to grow, or was it just you just going to try it?
Oh, I mean, that could be a long story. I was given the plant from a friend who the plant was already grown, and not at the time, not knowing how to keep them even just in veg or keep them healthy, I was worrying about that, and I had it to the point where, okay, the plant's healthy and it's growing, it's fine. But the thing got so big, I should have found you some pictures before the show. But the thing, it easily would have been bigger than a 5x5 by the time I flipped it indoors in my basement.
Shit.
So it became this big mess of a project because as a new grower, you may remember, you don't want to cut anything off. You're like,
no, you don't, but you have to.
All the buds. Right. So now I have all these little buds, and there was a lot of narfy stuff that I had to cut off. So I learned a lesson. I learned a lot of lessons, and that's why I make the show, because it's like, why not put those out there as I'm going through it?
Walk you through it, kind of thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Dude, I dig that. And, again, that show, if you guys want to do it, you can check it out on Facebook, The Indoor Farmer, or www.theindoorfarmer.locals.com. I want to touch on one last thing about, growing our own and what you're smoking on and stuff before we get to our next, segment. I'd like to know, when you go to smoke, do you choose to roll up? Obviously, you have smoking devices in front of you, but what's your favorite way to consume?
Definitely the water, for sure. My actual favorite way, though, not necessarily a shameless plug, but I like the Luca items here.
Okay.
The Luca Seahorse Max. I got the Seahorse X. I got a Unicorn Mini, which I didn't like the Mini. But the everything else, that they put out seems to get better and better. So I do like the Lucas. I like concentrates. I like dabs. For the most part, I would rather do that any day of the week. So.
Hell yeah! I mean, I've heard that concentrates are better for you. Let's mention real quick before we get to the next segment. But any kind of smoke is inherently bad for your lungs. That being said, there are certain stages of certain smokes that are worse, and concentrates are a lot better than anything combusting. So let's be honest here. So
it is a health factor for sure. It makes me think I'm doing something more healthy too.
And it tastes better.
Sorry.
No, you're right. You're right, and it tastes better. I mean, not to kind of pull away from flour, but you're absolutely right there. So I think I'd have to agree with you. I definitely dab there, but it's come now time for.
Get ready for TNA.
Now, this section, TNA, isn't necessarily what you would think. This is more of a few rapid-fire questions, just kind of, freestyling it a little bit in the form of totally or absolutely not. Waylon, we were talking about, growing autoflowers. You were talking about growing an autoflower earlier, and I had a question. Have you Have you grown anything aside from autoflowers?
So the autoflower that I grew was it was given to me. I didn't know it was an autoflower. It was just a little small plant. So it grew to like not even an ounce. But I had a bunch of other plants at the same time that are not autos. So I did a whole bunch of photos. A few that no names, but I have the strawberry banana. Then I also had a what was it? Purple Alien OG. That was the other one. I also did a Cinderella 99 times Durban Tide was the clone that I had grown from someone else. So it's funny because I started going to different events and things, and people just throw you clones. They want to get rid of plants because they have too many and things. And so I took a few sort of hand-me-down, sort of problem children plants on purpose because I wanted to see these issues. I wanted to work on, this plant's just not had enough attention, and let me figure out how to bring it back. And that way I sort of delved into the mistakes end of things quickly so I could learn lessons, without reading books.
So my question really, when you're looking at it, autoflowers, totally or absolutely not? It sounds like you're leaning more towards totally on that one.
I only had the one autoflower. Okay. I honestly would say they take more experience. Autoflowers do. So,
from what I understand with autoflowers, and you're right, obviously it's a lot shorter flower period and things of that nature. It grows a lot quicker. Some would argue about half the time as a normal, photo. Right. That being said, that means everything is so quick. So if you don't have experience growing, you're going to miss that window. You're going to miss that exit off the highway, and so it really depends on the person. I would actually have to then continue, to argue, if you will, because you grow an autoflower, like you said, it was your first one. You know what to expect now. So, yeah, I guess so. Okay, middle of the road, that one.
I think if you're okay with failure and you just give it a shot, and you think, oh well, that was only a tiny thing. I've heard that sometimes they get different sizes and stuff, and so I think over time it would be worth it. But I've also heard things that I don't like about them because they're sort of a not a mutated. What is it? It's a man
synthetic
tampered with. Yeah, we've changed it to make it that way. So I don't know. Yeah, I think I would try them for sure. I have some seeds down here that are autoflower.
Hell yeah! I've had a few autoflowers in my day, and I'm gonna quote Danny Danko here when I asked him about autoflowers. He said they have their place. I think that surmises everything, man. I think that if a person wants to dive into it and go autoflowers, they can go autoflowers. You want to go photos, you go photos. So, dive into one and figure out whether you totally like it or absolutely not. You know what I mean?
I heard that, yeah. I actually heard that it's a good filler in between major harvests on a photo. So you have your several photos, and then you have a nice auto in between there to just sort of keep something going.
To patch it, you know what I'm saying?
Basically, yeah. Since I'm indoors, it's kind of this similar. I can stagger them instead. But so I don't know.
Well, hey man, you know what happens when you grow all that weed? You end up smoking it, and after you smoke weed, guess what?
Get ready for. I got some munchies.
This segment, Got the Munchies, is all about a childhood snack or treat, whether it's discontinued or not, that you enjoyed growing up. So, Waylon, man, tell me about that one sweet time or that one sweet thing or whatever it was that you enjoyed growing up.
Oh man, there's so many that now looking back, they've sucked.
Yeah.
Like there are two that I thought of, and one is moon pies. Moon pies.
Chocolate or vanilla, dog? Because there's chocolate, vanilla, and if you could find it, strawberry.
I don't know if I ever had the strawberry, but I think I could go either way on them. I would probably alternate. I'm kind of weird like that.
That's fair. That's fair. I feel that.
And then the other one was the nip. What are they called? Nippin'. They were these little wax bottles.
Oh, the Coca-Cola bottles.
Yeah, and
Nip and sips.
Nip and sips. That's it.
Yeah.
You bite the top off, and you can sip out whatever that crap was they put in there.
I used to shove those in my mouth by the handful.
I didn't eat the wax.
Oh, I didn't know. Yeah, you just chew it around and suck all the juice out of it, and you spit all this big cloud.
Gusher. Okay,
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I grew up in the South. It wasn't uncommon to do that.
So you wrapped it around your bubble gum and your big league chew. No, I'm kidding.
You had the wax on one side and the big lead chew on the other. You mix in the flavors,
Wrap it around there.
That's terrible. I mean, the amount of just sheer sugar in those things alone is crazy. Do you remember? Oh man, they were called Mystics. I think they were a drink. It was like, ooh, look at that. What do you got there?
Well, I have a trim bin, and so out of the 8 plants that I had, like there's this beautiful keef that's just a mix of all 8. I don't have a whole lot left. I've been turning it into rosin, which let me tell you what. For a while, I was like, man, this rosin, it's the strongest dabs I've had in a while. I wonder why. And it's because there's 8 different plants of keef in there. So
okay,
I think it makes more sense.
It sounds pretty potent, man. I have a really good friend, Eric Asher, out in Pennsylvania. He turns green into gold, he would tell you. He is a very rational person, but he is a rosin professional, tongue-tied a little bit, but a great dude. I'd love to put you in touch with him. Ex-veteran, knows his shit. Maybe you can share some knowledge. I know he would be highly interested in what you're doing.
I need a press. I just have to save up for one.
He would be a person to point you in the right direction. Great dude. I just got a message from him. I got to head him back up. But it's interesting because the reason I asked that question is because I like looking back at the things that we grew up, like the things that were handed to us by our parents, or the things that we threw a fit about, and kind of retrospectively be like, okay, yeah, maybe I liked Butterfinger BBs, maybe they were great. They deserve to be discontinued. They don't. They were delicious. Give me them back. But the fact is, we used to clutch these things in our hands, and we thought that this was an appropriate part of our diet. Hey, it's okay if you only ate one moon pie, a week, and that's fine. But they're still there, and there's still a memory, call it a caveat of enjoyment, if you will, so that's why I like to ask that question. Now, this next segment, this is the one that everybody loves. This one I consider to be the most philosophical of the bunch.
Get ready for Lie to Me.
This is the last segment of the show, Lie to Me. This one is about Waylon. 180 degrees from where you're standing right now in your life, looking as far back into your past as you absolutely need to. We're talking all the way back to maybe 2-3 years old. What is one lie that you've told that you got away with, knew you shouldn't have?
Oof. So many.
Oh man!
I mean, wait. All right, that's not fair.
No, it's not. But we're gonna go with it.
All right. Let's see. I'm sure that I don't think I lied too much to get through school.
That's good to hear.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. I mean, so I was a security guard, and I don't want to go any further. So yeah, back before cannabis was legal, we had to lie to get by, and I always got by. There was no problem. I always felt that was my one thing that I always felt bad about, like keeping from family or friends, and but I was good about it because I don't know, I have the look. People don't really think that I'm a stoner unless I have all the nerds. So, but there's things and there's this hat. So I mean, I don't know. People are surprised sometimes when they find out. But now it's legal. So I mean, I'm a disabled veteran, so it's definitely more medicine for me than it is a recreational thing for me. And this is very much showier than just smoking a joint, right? But I also like the water and the filtration, and we talked about cleaner usages and stuff like that.
Dude, I dig it. I mean, let me ask you though, as legalization kind of rolls out, federal, statewide, whatever you need, Do you find that it's easier to just, like tell your, I wouldn't say parents necessarily, but like people who would have judged you before, is it easier to tell them? They're like, oh, I always kind of knew that. Or like they were like, oh no, is it like...
I still expect either judgment or pushback or looking down their nose at me, especially, people who didn't like it before it was illegal, or before it was legal, I should say. Those types of people, and I have always said this too, there's a large portion of the population that say things like, well, if it was legal or it's illegal. Right. And then now that it's legal in certain places, if you're in Illinois, you then still have people that have that stigma behind it. It's almost like they can't swallow that pill now that it's being pushed the other way. And it's funny because I'm more open about it. And I don't have any issues with it. I'm also not trying to make myself known as just like another weed guy, right? Because I'm trying to do so much more than that, with growing food and aquaponics and all that. The cannabis is just my medicine, and I thought, why not grow it? I can be a medical patient. I'm trying to grow stuff. Let's try to grow it, right? So
from what I understand, what state are you in again? Sorry, one more time. Illinois, right?
Illinois.
Oh, that's what I thought. Yeah. I thought so. In Illinois, I've got some, good friends in Illinois, great people. I've heard different things about the legislation there, cannabis-wise. What are your thoughts on it? Do you think like, all right, this is cool, or do you like, absolutely not, they're trying to fuck us over?
I would say they definitely fucked us over. They anywhere that they can, they're going to use that, and this is my opinion, but also shown by history now, that they're going to use it as a carrot on a stick in order to pull through a bunch of waste and garbage and thousands of pages of bill that we don't need. So I actually was encouraged by the fact that they're looking at federally descheduling it, or actually descheduling it. That would be a little bit easier, but yeah, I mean, every time I feel like they're going to. So Illinois specifically, though, we've got a lot of hands in the pot from outside of the state, which definitely takes away from those within the state who have been persecuted for these things, to then be thrown by the wayside now that it's legal, and okay, no problem now, even though you've been put through the ringer. And then, not me specifically necessarily, but I see it time and time again, people within the community who definitely have a better message, but they don't have the backing that some of these larger companies do coming in from out of state. So it's kind of definitely a double-edged sword. We get what we asked for, I guess, but there you go.
No, I agree. I thoroughly agree with that. I think that the only additional comment that I would make to that is that there is a massive difference in not only quality but quantity with I want to call them mom and pops versus MSOs, multiple state operators. And you get what you pay for. Let's be very clear. That's kind of the idea I was wanting to spin off of, is because, all right, let's say you go pull up an eighth from a mom and pop, and about $35 is your going rate, plus whatever taxes they got to hit you with, because they got to pay them too, right? All right, they got to make their money. Fine, I'll pay $40 for an eighth if it's good, right? That's the truth. I got no problem with that. I'll also pay $20 an eighth if it's good. You know what I mean? And you don't really even know. Where I don't like is I don't like seeing, people sell seeds for $10,000 a fucking for a thing of 5, claiming that they were energized and all of this. And while I'll agree with that, it's still not worth, a down payment on a house, my man. You understand? So I have an issue with that, and then you have other people that are like, oh, well, the genetics and this. Okay, the fact that you have a genetics and you're pheno hunted this entire thing, that even proves how dirty that the authenticity of that is. I'm sorry, I'm going to argue that. I'll be the first one to say it. Because here's the problem. We don't have any pure sativa strains anymore, and we don't have any pure indica strains anymore. Everything is a hybrid. Think about that. So if everything is a hybrid and it's, dominant in one way or another, because you can have a 60-40 hybrid, you know what I'm saying? You can have a 70-30. I really haven't heard, maybe you have. Have you heard of any like 80-20s?
No, people still try to say this is this or this is that,
Right,
and
right.
it's like, well, I don't believe any labels on these now.
I don't. It's all
I
marketing.
find that there's no legal recourse for telling a dispensary, for example, that their product or their label is wrong in any way, even if you have proof. You can't.
You can't sue them for false advertising.
Yeah, because it's such a closed situation. They're not out there advertising, although they do have the websites. But anyway, regardless, it's just something they're allowed to do.
Exactly. Sadly enough, until we get to the point where there are statutes and things of that nature restricting these companies from doing said, lackadaisical marketing is really what I want to call it.
Or technology. I mean, getting around it by making testers a lot more available and maybe better price range, easier testers, smaller testers. I don't know.
I've started to see a few. There's some. I'm seeing these. They're at-home kits now or something. They're selling.
I'd like to look into it because seeing that take off is a positive movement, because then people can be a lot more sure of what they got going on.
Well, it's interesting you should say that, because a lot of the caregivers that are in the community up here actually pride themselves off of being able to provide a certificate of analysis, a COA, if you will, upon certain strains. They're like, hey, listen, this is my award. You know what I'm saying? This is what I grew, and then here nor there. So I think that people doing that and doing that competently and just doing it consistently across the board is definitely something. It sounds like something that we both want to see happen, here soon.
Sure. I mean, I've looked at a few of these angles, and not to get off topic, but one of my podcast, people in the boxes. Oh, sorry, my phone there. People in the boxes. We talked about the CBNs, the Delta 8s, Delta 9s, CBDs. We had this one whole episode about all these. We found out that there was a group that had done a study on these things. And they found that there's only supposed to be up to 3% THC in these CBD products, or Delta 9 or Delta 8, I think. And they found that it was up to 30%. Like it was, it was much higher than what was supposed to be in there, because there's nobody testing these things. There's no follow through with it. Yeah, here it's legal. There you go. Now choke on it. Basically, is what it sounds like.
See, that's funny, because here in the state of Michigan, we have some of the most scrutinized testing in the nation.
Well, and this was across the board. I don't know. Okay. There's 38 states legal now. Mm-hmm. So that I think that was a 1,000 tests that they did or something. Yeah, there's definitely more coming. I think 4 more that had looked into passing not just a couple of days ago.
Mississippi just hit the board.
Okay.
Yeah.
I read a few. Are you in Grill Fam?
No.
Okay. Well,
no. I should be, but no.
I do a show on Grill Fam on Wednesdays. Okay. It's a private group. Okay. And that show is more about looking up current events within the industry, within our food supply or anything within that, just something that's been put out today or whatever. It's just a current article. So.
Hey, dude, I'm down. Yeah, link me up. Let's do it. That sounds like something that's right up my alley. But yeah, man, I want to appreciate the time that you kind of got with us today. Sorry, kind of tongue-tied. Producer was sending me a message. But no, dude, I appreciate you coming on the show. Y'all, check him out. Again, that website is right here at the bottom. It is www.theindoorfarmer.locals.com. Help a man out here. I like seeing people move along. I like the positive messages. I like everything that you're doing, and I want to continue seeing you do it. So if there's anything that us here at the Daily Chronicles or Five Finger Films, Deliciously Dope TV can help you do to move that forward, you let us know, man.
Excellent. Yeah, no, I mean, this is great. I love the networking. I love the positive networking rather than the clout chasing. It's a different thing, it's when I meet people, I'm going to meet more and more people and network more and more, and it should be a win-win. It should be, I'd love to have you on any of my shows sometime. So
absolutely. Just let me know so I can not be too busy doing it. That we've moved into video and film and podcasting and producing. I don't feel like I should have told anybody that because now my phone doesn't stop ringing. Which is a good thing, I guess you say in business. But all right, my tokers, my jokers, my smokers, this has been another amazing edition of the Daily Chronicles. Again, I want to thank Waylon, the indoor farmer. Y'all go check him out on Facebook. Or what was that? It was the indoorfarmer.locals.com, y'all. We'll catch you on the flip. Peace.